You ever have one of those days, you know exactly what you need to do, you might even want to do it, but you just can't? You find yourself doing anything and everything else instead. It's so frustrating, right? Well, it turns out you're not lazy. Your brain is literally wired to avoid hard things, even when you're desperate for success. Let's dig into why.
This right here, this is the core idea we're going to unpack. For way too long, we've all been told the answer is just more discipline, just try harder. But what if that's just not true? What if the problem isn't your character at all? This is key because it lets us stop blaming ourselves and start understanding the real biological reason this is happening.
So, let's talk about this battle we're all fighting. We think it's about forcing ourselves to grind through some awful task. But that heavy, difficult feeling we call hard work, that's not the work itself. No, it's actually the feeling of your brain resisting a task that it has secretly decided is a total waste of energy.
And this simple sentence really changes everything. Once you realize the real opponent is your brain's resistance, not the spreadsheet on your desk, the whole strategy shifts. You can stop trying to just brute force your way through a wall and start figuring out, hey, how do I stop this wall from even going up in the first place?
So, where does all this resistance come from? Well, turns out it's not some modern flaw. It's an ancient feature. Our brains are basically running on some seriously outdated software, a survival code that was perfect for a world of immediate dangers and rewards, not a world of quarterly reports and 5-year plans.
This brings us to a huge concept, wasted effort detection. See, for our ancestors, every single calorie was precious. Wasting energy on something that didn't lead directly to food or shelter or safety, well, that could literally get you killed. So your brain evolved to be an incredible detector and rejecter of anything that smells like a pointless effort. What feels like laziness to us today was once a top-tier survival skill. And this just shows the mismatch so perfectly. In the ancient world, effort had an immediate, tangible payoff. You hunt, you eat. You build a shelter, you don't freeze. Simple. But in our world, effort is for abstract goals. Finishing a report doesn't immediately put a meal on your plate, so your brain's ancient wiring just can't see the point, and it starts screaming, warning, potential waste of energy here. Okay, so this leads to our next big idea. We think of motivation as this magical feeling we have to wait for, right? It's not. Motivation is actually a prediction. Your brain is constantly running calculations based on everything you've ever done to predict whether putting in effort is actually going to lead to a reward.
And here is the absolute kicker. Your brain learns. Every single time you've started a project and not finished, or you've worked really hard without seeing results, your brain learned a painful lesson. It starts to predict that effort leads to disappointment. So, in this kind of twisted attempt to protect you from that pain, it just cuts off your motivation before you can even get your hopes up. It's a protective mechanism that has accidentally become a prison.
And you have to understand, your brain is a relentless record keeper. It has a long, detailed memory, and it has logged every single one of these instances as a piece of evidence in the case against you even try.
So let's make this real. What does this evidence actually look like? Does any of this stuff sound familiar? Starting projects but not following through? Yep, that's a data point. Working hard without seeing results? Check. Getting slammed with negative feedback or criticism after you tried your best? Oh yeah. Being told your work just isn't good enough? Or dealing with clients who nitpick and take forever to pay? Your brain logged every single one of those moments as solid proof that effort is, well, pointless. Okay, so our brains have collected a mountain of evidence that suggests hard work is a bad idea. So how do we fight back? Well, we don't. We don't need more discipline to fight this feeling. We need to become collectors of a completely different kind of evidence. This is so important. Your brain does not care about your New Year's resolutions or your big speeches about what you're going to do. It's a pattern matching machine. That's it. It only believes what you can show it, over and over through direct experience. You have to prove, with cold, hard results, that this time is actually going to be different. So here's our new mission, should you choose to accept it. We are going to deliberately and systematically stack the deck in our favor. We are going to accumulate so much tangible proof that our effort leads to rewards, that our brain has literally no other choice but to update its predictions. We're going to overwrite that old painful data with a brand new powerful pattern of success.
That all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? Well, it comes down to a really simple 3-step framework. It's designed to retrain that prediction engine and turn your brain from a critic into your biggest fan.
All right, let's break it down. Step 1. Start with challenges your brain can't argue with. I'm talking wins so small they're almost impossible to fail at. The goal is just to start collecting proof. Step 2. Progressive overload. After you get a few wins under your belt, you just gently increase the difficulty. This trains your brain to start anticipating that little dopamine hit of success. And finally, step 3, and this is the real game changer, shift your identity.
Well, let's look at what this identity shift really means, because it's huge. Most of us think about our work in terms of tasks. You know, after a focus session, you might think to yourself something like, but the powerful reframe is this. You're not just a person who did a thing, your action is proof of the type of person you are. I'm someone who can lock in on important work. And what's so cool about this is that our brains are wired to be consistent. It will literally work to align your future actions with the identity you've given it. And this is the ultimate payoff. When you successfully reprogram your brain's prediction system, the whole game changes. That internal fight, that resistance you feel every day, it just starts to fade away. Hard work stops feeling like a battle against yourself, and it just starts feeling like the next logical, inevitable step. Your brain stops being your enemy and becomes your most powerful ally. Look, understanding all this is one thing, but applying it is where the magic happens. The point isn't just to know this stuff, it's to put it into action. So I'll just leave you with this one simple question. What small, can't argue with it piece of evidence could you start building for your brain starting today?